Good to have you with us here on the Friday edition of the South African Morning. I'm Gareth Edwards. A new Guinness World Record will soon be awarded to South Africa. 62-year-old Simon Ince set to receive it as the oldest person to swim from Simonstown to Rooi Els, crossing False Bay. Ince took almost 11 hours this past Sunday to get it done. So he joins us now to tell us more about this, what really is an incredible and I think personally crazy feat. Hello to you, Simon. First question I have to ask is, why would you do this?
Very good question. I think it comes down to a simple fact that I grew up in Somerset West and I looked at False Bay and regarded that as my own personal swimming pool. Spearfished, life-saved, surfed there. And then once I was training with a whole lot of guys who were training to go to the English Channel, and I said, "Oh, what does that cost you?" They said 150,000 rand. So I said, no, I can't afford that.
Yeah.
I'll try False Bay. Sounds a lot easier and cheaper.
I'm not sure about the easier part. So just for someone who doesn't know the area, and I'm happy to admit I don't know the area that well. I've never tried to swim that far out in the ocean. 11 hours, what kind of distance are we talking?
Well, firstly, 11 hours is a long time. The actual time was 10 hours and 42 minutes, which I have to be rather precise in because you can imagine an extra 18 minutes in that water is not that pleasant. So it took me 10 hours and 42 minutes, and the distance was 32.5 kilometers in total.
So was this the aim? What was the previous record? So you obviously had gone for a couple of swims with some mates, and you picked up a Guinness Book of World Records and thought, well, hang on a moment, I can give this a go. Was this a goal, or was it just something you found you're naturally talented at this, and suddenly you had the record?
I'm certainly not naturally talented. What had happened is I'd looked at the records, and when I looked at the records about 5 years ago, at that point, only 6 people had crossed the stretch of water. And then when I started looking a little bit deeper into it, I realized that, hey, if you're going to do this in 5 years' time, you're going to be really old. And then that's sort of struck a note with me, and I thought, well, if I'm going to be really old, I might as well claim some form of record, because I'm certainly not going to beat any of these faster guys who are absolute machines in the water. And realized, yes, that I would be the oldest person. And I might add that my time was also not too shabby.
No, not too shabby at all. You talk about that 18 minutes. I think it's about the maximum length of time I've spent in a swimming pool in my entire life. So I certainly commend you for doing it for 10 hours and 42 minutes. So what is the kind of training you were doing to get this done, A? And then B, this was an open water swim. Are we not a little concerned about big fish with big teeth?
Well, let's answer the question first. Yes, we're always concerned about those little men with big teeth. That is really a concern. As I've spearfished in False Bay, and particularly over a reef in the middle of False Bay, which I had to cross many years ago, I actually saw my first great white cruising around me looking for fish. He looked at me and circled me once and then left. So while swimming, going across this reef, I was a little bit nervous, and I did wonder if that shark would come back and pay me a visit, and this time decide to take a bite out of me. But he didn't. I think the water was too cold. They stayed away that day. In terms of training, in the last 6 months, I've covered over 700 kilometers in the pool. It amounts to about 5 kilometers per day up and down the lengths of a chlorinated pool, which is pretty monotonous.
I'm pretty sure if another shark headed your direction, the speed would have been even faster. You could have done it in maybe 10.5 hours if a shark came near me. That's some inspiration to get out the water quicker. So what, you mentioned the English Channel crossing a moment ago. So you've got this record now. What is the next one? Or are you happy to hang up the cap and goggles?
Well, my wife would like me to burn my Speedo and my goggles and cap. But I don't think, she also never wanted me to swim across False Bay. But in saying that, I suppose it's a natural aspiration to move forward, to look at another challenge, but not necessarily the English Channel. As a South African, I feel that it would be quite a nice challenge to swim from Africa to Europe, across the Gibraltar Straits.
Has that been done?
That would be the
Has that been done? Has someone done that?
It has been done, but a couple of people have done it. It's apparently quite challenging because there's a lot of strong currents, and again, you have to get your timing right.
And I'm not sure if your wife is within earshot of you. I'm half expecting a shoe to come flying in from the side of the camera, because now you've just outed yourself as to the next plan as well. I mean, but the amount of time that you're taking to get this done as well, it takes away a lot of family time. I'm not sure if job-wise how you're able to fit this all in, because somebody might be saying, well, it's great for Simon to do it. He's probably got all the time in the world, but I'm sure that's not true. It takes a lot of dedication and sacrifice, doesn't it?
It does. It takes a lot of time, and it does. It is tricky to slot it all in, and of course the family demands are there. But generally, I found that swimming straight away in the morning as early as possible works quite well for me. It just means I have to extend my day a little bit into the evening to make sure that I have my work cut out for me and completed in the evening.